Right now, e-commerce is growing very, very fast in the region. It's obvious. Everyone's already clear, especially for those in the game like Moxie. So some of the things that I predict is going to happen is that it's going to become the norm. When I say it's the norm, I mean people are not going to think of it as sexy or as a wow thing anymore. It's just going to be okay. You do e-commerce, great. That's another channel that you have to do. If you don't do it, you're not going to survive doing retail or doing service or doing financial technology. It is just something that is going to happen, and it's something that's going to make people's lives easier because a lot more people are realizing time is money, and e-commerce saves time.
You talked a lot about mobile commerce. Is that something that's going to start to take off?
Definitely. I still think it's a little bit further away because as Southeast Asia as a region is a little bit behind the US and Europe as a whole. But it's catching up really, really fast. So I do think it's the future. I just think we're still 1 or 2 years behind it at the moment. But I mean, again, if you want to get ahead of the curve, you have to start now because starting mobile commerce 2 years when it's already normal would get you behind. You would not understand the learnings from it. You would understand how to grow it and do everything else in terms of marketing for it, even pushing products on it.
So e-commerce predictions for 2016 in Southeast Asia. What do you think?
Okay, I think 2016 is going to be a big year. I expect a lot of companies that were left behind in the previous years going to jump back on the train, and they're going to start looking into launching their new e-commerce website. For brands, for lots of retailers in the region that have not done it before, for lots of other players that are independent startups that try to bridge this gap between the retailers and try to do it on their behalf. So I could see more activity, and I would see pretty much everyone that can will start doing e-commerce. Some people that shouldn't, they will start also doing e-commerce and so on. So I think that's going to be biggest change that is going to happen. Plus, I believe that there is a lot of potential for grocery retailers. Because at the moment, when we look at Southeast Asia, there is a lot of electronics, clothes, fashion, apparel, but food, which is high value, which is a high market. There's a lot of value in the food industry, FMCG. A lot of those grocery products, they are not in e-commerce. So people do not shop online for grocery products yet. So I think there is a big field in that, and I could expect some of the smaller startups that are bridging this gap going into that direction.
And we talked about payments during the panel. Any thoughts on what's going to happen with payments?
Yeah, I think it's not going to happen in 2016. I would not expect that there is going to be a revolutionary solution for payments. I believe cash on delivery is still going to be playing an important role because people would like to get it at home. People are not confident in putting their mobile phone, their credit cards and their information to the retailers. I think there is going to be a lot of credit card fear, let's say. So what people are going to do, they're going to do cash on delivery. If they could do the mobile payments, they would like to do, but I don't see at the moment any big player or anyone that would be able to revolutionize it straight away within next year. There is a big potential in it. Whoever cracks it gets $1 million business, $1 billion business.
I think 2016 is going to be the tipping point for e-commerce in Southeast Asia. Today, online penetration for e-commerce is only 1%. Within 5 years, it's going to be China levels of like 10%, 12%, with Southeast Asia becoming the biggest e-commerce market outside of China and India, and even surpassing the US. As a consequence, we will see the market we will see like 1 or 2 key players becoming leaders in the market, especially in the B2C space, because that's like a winner takes all game. At the same time, we're going to see more brands going online because the opportunity for brands to sell into different channels, either, for example, Lazada or Zalora or Line or even Shopee, right? Like they can distribute their brand into multiple platforms and increase their sales. The second prediction I have for e-commerce is omni-channel. And this is going to be realized in several ways. Right? One, we will see brands, again, like I said, trying to sell their products into multiple channels, whether it's online or offline. Niche online players like Pomelo or Moxie, focusing on specific user segment, they're going to open up pop-up stores, offline stores to complement the online experience, the brand experience. And then we see mass retailers like Lazada, Central, leveraging their offline properties or either building them to speed up delivery, the last mile delivery to end customers.
Okay, e-commerce predictions for 2006 for Southeast Asia. What do you see happening next year?
So I think it's gonna move from fragment market to multiple players. There's a lot of investments on e-commerce, and I think a lot of companies like struggle on the market. And also another prediction is offline retail is gonna rise up on online market. They spend time 2 or 3 years to study on the online market, and they don't want to lose the market share. And I think they're gonna invest a lot more, so it's gonna be more competitive online.
You also talked about how you might use some other platforms, non-traditional
Not
e-commerce
traditional
players.
one, yeah.
Touch on
We
that.
for retail business, and we really study on the omni-channel. We want to enhance customer experience. They can shop it anywhere. They can return the stuff anywhere, and it could be really benefit for the customer. And we're gonna get more sales like everywhere in 24 hours.
Can you just give some examples of some of those different omni-channel?
There's we just a bit of the start of it, and right now like the website of our group Central Online, we can do the click and collect, right? We have department store nationwide, and people can buy the stuff home and they can collect it to the nearest department store.
So, e-commerce predictions for 2016 for Southeast Asia.
For Southeast Asia, I think it's going to be big because it just only warmed up at so far in this year, and next year they will be bigger and bigger. That's why a lot of offline retail start looking, find a new place to like e-commerce or online store to start to do the business in e-commerce, because the majority of the customer behavior is changing to technology, internet, and everything. So people get used to more and more of shopping online, and the next year will be even larger and larger. So I think it's going to be big, bright future in next 5 years. Mm-hmm.
You talked about apps.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see apps taking off?
I think mobile apps is really important, especially in Thailand, because the one thing is also service provider. They develop a lot of good signal, and they keep developing it. And also mobile apps is really important to get into the customer. Like penetration is very high. So I think it's important for the e-commerce platform. So apart from on-site, I think mobile apps is another way to get into the customer and convert them to sales. Mm-hmm.
Who should be getting an app? Should everyone get an app?
No, I don't think, like I said, I don't think that everyone needs to get an app. I think like all of the e-commerce, like Lazada already has one. True also have one. Like a lot of people to do like as a retail, e-commerce retail, e-retail, so they should have the apps. But then it's also depends. If the market that they have is not big enough, they might want to develop apps related to the mobile site. So they have a lot of ways to do apps, not invest a lot, and you can still have apps for the customer to use. But then, as we discussed earlier, I do agree that all of the brand doesn't need apps. Maybe because they might want to build all of the their on-site website, have more look and feel, but I don't think like those brand needs app. Yes. Mm-hmm.